Hey, what's going on, everyone? Dan the Glassman here, and you're watching the Glassman's World. So, welcome back to my experience working in film. This is the whole behind the scenes storytelling. Basically, I'll just be sharing my story here on working with the film Not Forgotten. So, this is a film which I don't know if you can see that or not. Let me see if I can zoom in just a little bit for you. At my work. There you go. So this is a film here, Not Forgotten. Uh, I worked on, gosh, I don't even remember when. It's been so long working in this film here. Uh, in a Tex-Mex border town, a man and his wife must face their tortured past in order to save their kidnapped daughter. So this movie here was one of the very first movies that I had ever worked on. Uh, Many different stars. Let's see who it features: Simon Baker, Paz Vega, Michael De Lorenzo, and let's see who else is on the cast here. Let's see, we get the full cast and crew. Directed by Dror Soref, um, and so many individuals on here. One thing that I noticed while I was looking at the film the other day was the fact that there's an individual on here. Here, let me see if I can zoom in just a little bit more. You might be able to actually see the words here and who these individuals are. I don't know. I'm not sure if it's going to allow you to see. But I do believe it's probably all the way to the very bottom. Oh, wow. Oh, yeah, no, there he is. I don't know if you know this individual or not here, but he's kind of gotten known. Mr. Isaac Cappy played the stoner dude. So yeah, he was in this film. Many others in this film. So many individuals. Um, Let me see if there's anyone on here that I was looking to see if any of the dancers or the waitresses, if they were on here, and if maybe I had recognized their names. So this film here was filmed, I believe, way back around 2004, is what I'm guessing. I'm not 100% sure, but I would say somewhere around there, 2004, the film Not Forgotten. So, I don't know if you guys have ever seen this film Not Forgotten, but I worked in it. Gosh, I can't even remember how long it's been. Like I said, maybe around 2004. I'm not 100% sure on that. I can see when it came out, but that doesn't tell us when exactly it was actually, when they were working on it and everything like that. So, yeah, that's some of the trailer right there. And it's a pretty good movie. I can recommend it. So, um, my experience on it. So I remember, we got the call. We went and showed up, I think, to set so we could get chosen to be part of the film here. And then they call you for a specific day. They'll say, "Hey, we'll be filming on this day, and with this sort of location, we're looking for these kind of characters." So then you go to like a casting call, and you show up. You send them your photos of, send them yourself, what you look like, give them a headshot. give them like a full body shot so then they can see what you look like and everything. And then the director will choose whether or not they can use you or not. And sometimes you're handpicked by the actual director, and sometimes you're chosen through just the casting directors, and they need to fill in a certain background and certain things. Um, so in this scene, in this film here, uh, there's only like 2 minutes, 2 or 3 minutes of a scene that I'm actually in. Um, Many films that I've worked in, I don't even make it on camera. So this is actually one of those films that I made it onto camera. You won't be able to recognize me. You won't be able to see me or see who, like, oh yeah, that's him. Like, you won't, because I'm just in the background. I only work as a background extra. Every once in a while, I've been chosen, for featured background extras. One time I was a stand-in for D.L. Hughley. And so in the first experience that I shared, I talk about all that. So in this one here, um, and I don't know why they're showing Indiana. They're showing all these other different clips and not the actual movie itself. I don't know if I can even pause it or not. So in the movie Not Forgotten, it came out in 2009. Like I said, we filmed, I would say probably about 2004. So, maybe it took a few years to come out. Maybe we didn't film it until a little bit later. Maybe I have some other films that were actually before this one. I don't really remember the whole timeline and time frame of movies that I started and the whole timeline chronologically. So in this film, I get chosen to be a bar patron. So okay, cool. We're gonna go hang out in a bar scene, and it's a stripper club. Like, okay, so there's gonna be, females, strippers, possibly some nudity. Um, there's gonna be pretend drinking. We're gonna act like we're all at a bar drinking and everything, and then we're gonna be part of some scene in here, right? So going into it, you never really know what you're going to be doing. You just know that you're a bar patron and you're working in some film called Not Forgotten. And that's usually about it. When you get to set, you usually have to go and check in, you do your paperwork and everything, fill out everything. Then you have to you got to be seen by everyone. If you got your clothing, you bring your own wardrobe. Sometimes they'll be like, hey, can you bring maybe this, bring like 3 different sets of clothing. We'll see if it'll work for the scene. If not, they have a whole entire truck full of wardrobe that you then get placed into, like basically into costumes. So then after you go check in, you get your wardrobe all set up, then you go to hair and makeup, and you make sure that you look right for the scene. If you're doing a zombie movie, of course, you're going to have to be painted up to look like a zombie or to look like a survivor or someone, it's going to be dirty and bloody and things like that. They might just shadow you with a little bit of grease or age you or whatever, But in this film, you're just going to be a patron. So they just want you to dress a part and then look a part, right? Make sure your hair's not like, they don't want you to be going on to scene looking like that, right? So they want to make sure, let's get the hair right, make sure everything's good, make sure that, if you're dirty or whatever, if they need you to be dirty, they'll do what they need. So then, after you've got your wardrobe, you got your hair and makeup done, then usually you walk around the set and they have food. Usually you can go in the morning. If you show up in the morning, they usually have breakfast, or if you go in the afternoons, they'll like have lunch, or you get there for dinner time. And you'll go and get catered. They'll have some sort of big old buffet where you can just choose any sort of different meals and all this stuff. So you have a lot of downtime while you're on set, right? So as you're hanging out, you don't really know what you're doing. So I'm hanging out. One of my friends, a good friend of mine, Christian Oriana, he's in a band here, Concepto Tambor, in Albuquerque, New Mexico. And a lot of us, you know, creative types, you know, musicians, artists, those of us, we have extra time on hand that we can then take a day to do some sort of filming, right? So him and I, you know, we're hanging out on set, talking. A lot of other people that we recognize that are from around town. They're like, oh, hey, what's going on? And you go and talk to some individuals, right? And then I ran into one of my friends who was basically wearing a robe, you know, and she had a bunch of makeup on and was really done up, and we were, you know, sitting there talking, just shooting the shit on the curb and everything. And then as we're like hanging out there, you know, we're all just chilling. Everyone's in their different wardrobes, so we're all in costume, right? All getting ready for the scene. All the crew. So you got all the people like setting up cameras inside, setting up the lighting, setting up all the props. You know, it's a bar, so they got to make sure tables are in place, chairs are in place. Got to have drinks in hand. Got to make sure drinks are poured, and they don't have real alcohol on set. What they do is they get like water, and then they'll add food coloring to it. Or a lot of times, you know, it'll just be like watered down soda. You know, they'll get like some ginger ale, and they'll just water it down, and then it looks like, you know, like some sort of a cocktail, you know, or they'll make it look like a beer, or, you know, something like that. And so, you know, a lot of times you're pretending, you know, like there's, you know, nothing in here, but, you know, you just pretend, right? And so you just pretend, right? It's called pantomiming, you know, when they say, okay, get everyone into places, everyone's all set up and everything, and they're like, okay, they'll get the lights, camera's rolling, sound is rolling, then they'll say background. When they say background, that's when all of us, all the background extras and actors, all of us, we start doing our part. So whatever they have us do, you know, sometimes they'll be like, hey, talk to this guy right here, and you'll be like, and so that's called pantomiming, right? Where you just like, you pretending like you're talking to someone over here, you know, and you don't let any sound come out because the microphones are so touchy. They'll pick up on a lot of different sound. They don't want anyone walking around. They don't want people bumping into each other. No laughter, no nothing, right? So you do pantomiming. A lot of times they'll say, you know, if you don't know what to do, just recite the alphabet, but quietly. You know, you're just like, and it'll look like you're having a conversation with someone when all you did was you just said the alphabet from A to Z, right? And so you can do lots of different tricks like that. There are different rhymes, different songs, different things that you can just remember, or you just pretend like you're having a conversation. And if the other individual is good, then they can pretend along with, and you guys can kind of like work. Now, the thing is, when you're an extra, you don't want to be all in the background like all making a scene. You're just part of filling in the background. You know, you're just like the curtain back here. You know, you're just these books back here. You don't want to be the main attraction. You don't want to be the actors. You want to be the chair. You want to be like everything in the background. You don't want to stand out. So really, you just like, you know, you're like, you're just pretending like you're just filling in space. So we're all called in, you know, we've been waiting. A lot of times when you go on the set, you know, you find these people, these extras, who they come on and they think this is their big break. They're going to get on camera. They're going to get discovered. They're going to become famous. They're going to start becoming an actor and become like the next big thing in Hollywood, right? And you get these people and they're just like so highly mistaken that really they want you to just be quiet, not be seen, not be noticed, and just do your work, right? So, you know, that's always fun to deal with those individuals. You know, we call them divas. You know, the divas on set. and they always want extra catering and extra this and extra, like it's interesting to watch individuals on set. So we're all out there, we're waiting because when you're on set, it's all about hurry up and wait. They tell you, okay, guys, hurry up and go over there, get checked in, hurry up and get your makeup, get your wardrobe done, go get your food, get eaten, and then come back here right away because we're going to be going to set. And then you wait like an hour, right? And you're just like, okay, just chilling. And then finally it's like you get the PA, the personal assistants, or the director's assistants, the DA or the PA. You get them to come up to you and they're like, hey, we're going to have you guys come with us. And then maybe they'll even tell you the scene. Like, okay, the scene is today. We got the main characters coming in, the main actors. They're going to be walking in. They're going to have a conversation with these individuals about blah, blah, blah. And the scene's just going to follow them through. And then that's it. And you're like, okay, cool. So they just get you prepared and ready for what's going to happen on set and everything. So then once you get on set, then you got individuals who are telling you, hey, can you stand right here? And as soon as they say background, I want you to just walk this way, just walk over here, make a left, and then walk that way, right? Okay, cool. So on the first scene here that we're going to try to watch. So I do have to make a disclaimer that there is nudity in this film. This is a rated R film. I'm going to do my best to like censor and block out certain things and be like, whoa, yo, where's the pasties? Because we're going to be in a stripper club here in a moment. And so, and I may also just do this real quick and continue talking. So we're going to do our best to just like kind of cover up some things, but then I'll pause it and we'll get to a couple scenes here. So let's get in and we'll show you what we filmed. All right. So here's a couple of the main actors here, and I don't know which photos they used back there. Some photos, and I don't remember who's who. But these are your individuals here. And we don't really need to worry about the audio and things like that. So right now they're going to head over to the bar scene. So the bar that we used was actually here, filmed in Albuquerque, New Mexico. A lot of the filming that I do is in Albuquerque, New Mexico. Sometimes I've gone out of city, behind the mountains and into Moriarty, Edgewood, Tijeras, maybe filming out in like Los Lunas, Belen. We filmed a lot up towards Santa Fe and in between Santa Fe and in different areas there. And so this scene here is actually filmed in a rundown location that's been shut down for a very long time called the Modelo. I believe the Modelo bar. And underneath the bridge on First Street, basically under a bridge where you can't really see it unless you come around from downtown and then go up the First Street right there. It's been closed for a long time. I don't even know if they've demolished the building yet or not. It probably will be demolished. But a lot of times, filming locations are in places where they've been, shut down. They've been abandoned. Haven't been used in a long time. They're grungy, they're dirty, they're dingy, they're gross and disgusting. So as we're, showing up to set, there's a lot of individuals that, they live there on the streets. A lot of individuals use the restroom there on the street. So you get that really, that beautiful aroma that comes from downtown in certain areas when the sun comes out. So we're in a location like that where you're trying to do your best to stay away from those areas, and we come back into far corners, right, where it's a little bit fresher and you're chilling. And so this is the scene right here. Now when they walk up, this is not the bar here, the location. We're only getting the interior of the Modelo place. So this here when they're walking up, this is not the actual location that we're at. This is probably in Mexico. So, they'll film in a location here in Mexico, but then in a whole different scene when they go inside or something, then it's somewhere else completely. So right here, they're going into the La Paloma Blanca. La Paloma Blanca. That's not the El Modelo. This is definitely... Now, all right. We're going to pause it here. She has clothes on right now, just so you know. She has a shirt on. This is my friend, Christian, right here. He's about to tip her. He's going to put money in her waistline, which he got a kick out of that all day. He was like, wait, I'm getting paid. And he's from Peru, so he's got a real heavy accent. He's like, yo, I'm getting paid to put money in, and then I take it out. It's like, oh man, like he gets to take the money back. Like he's all, I've never done this before. I've always gone to the strip clubs where you give the money and they just walk away with it. It's like, I get to take it back, and then give it, and then take it back again and again and again, like take after take. So, in the background right here, you see a golden fedora. That's me. That's me right there. So I'm wearing a golden fedora with this like kind of golden button-up shirt. It's got a collar, button-up, kind of silky polyester. And they're supposed to be walking in through the front entry here. As they walk, I walk that way towards the other dancer back here who you can't see. And then I walk towards the front entry. So that's one take right there. I'm in one wardrobe. Now, what's interesting about this whole scene is it's only 2 minutes long. Okay? And in this scene here, I'm in it 3 times. I can't really point out the third time when I walk across, but I know I'm there in the bar. So we're going to be very careful and cautious now as we roll this. So we go walking through, right? That's me there walking through as the main actors come in. Now, another thing that I understand here is there's an individual that people may recognize from Breaking Bad and Better Call Saul. His name is Jesus Payan Jr. And he's in this scene here. Now, I got to be real careful on what we pick up here because she does let me hold on a second. I'm gonna hold on a second. Hold on. I'm trying to pause it. Okay. Hold on. Hey, hold on.
Come to the right place. Can't touch the dwarf in la zona roja without getting a yaqui. Come on, follow me.
Okay, now in that scene right here, sorry, I had to black that out. So then you have this gentleman right here. That's me. Same guy. But with no fedora on. So now I'm just wearing just my shirt, or a different shirt. I think this is actually a completely different shirt than the button up. And with no fedora. So now it's, what they did is they just changed my wardrobe right there. And just had me now in a whole different scene. So in between that one take, so we did, I don't know how many takes where, okay, they're going to come walking in and then they're going to have you walk this way and then walk out, right? And then cut, do it again. And they do it again and again, and they keep setting up the camera. So once you're on scene there, you know where you're supposed to be, and then they'll move around camera. So maybe it'll be facing you this way. And then in the next scene, it'll be coming from this way, and then maybe from this way, and so they'll get all these different scenes, so then they can edit it in the final cutting board, and turn it into the movie that we then see. So there's 20 different takes just for what we just saw. And now we're going into another scene where then they had to reset all the lighting and cameras now to then change everyone and also change people's wardrobe. So we basically took another break in between and then came back in just to do this. So, you know, we're only like less than a minute in already because we start here. You know, and then I go walking up from the back right there, right? These guys come walking in as I walk past them, and there's an individual who I'm trying to, gotta be careful, don't want to get in trouble, but there's an individual here. I don't know if you saw him. I'm like trying to capture without getting busted, you know? Okay, it's pausing. All right, let's try to censor this again, all right? So this girl here, she takes off her top. Oh my God. All right, well, there was Jesus Payan Jr. right there, and I don't know why it's not pausing for me. I'm like, come on, really? All right, so there he is right there. So Mr. Jesus Payan Jr. in the scene right there. I had no idea that I was working with him at this time, but eventually in another movie, Urban Justice with Steven Seagal, I got to actually meet him, sit down, have breakfast with him, and we had a nice conversation, and he had told me his whole experience on what he was going to be doing that day, and then when it came up, when the time came, then it was pretty crazy. All right, so let me just step up in front again real quick. Okay. Because I just want to make sure I'm blocking out this girl and not get in trouble. This is a hand sensor. And then they bring her up like all close here. All right, so then, gotta be careful here. All right, so then we go into the next scene here, and then they have me set up as this individual as they're walking past. And then on the next scene, which I'm not sure if they have the dancer come in or not again here. I think it's safe. Well, maybe there's some girls in the background here. But then I walk across at some point. All right, so there's this dude here, and I end up walking across, and then I go sit somewhere back here. And I don't know if they show me here or not, walking through, or what. And then my friend is actually the one on stage right here that I was talking to. Yeah, so pretty much that whole scene they did. They had me in 3 different wardrobe outfits, and it took all day to film, and changing up the scenes and everything. And it's just really interesting how they have us come out, change, and like, okay, now we're gonna film this part of the scene, and you're like, oh, okay, like, how are you not gonna be able to tell that I was already there? And it's like, oh, the magic of filming. they can have extras work and different things. A lot of times, once you work as an extra, they don't want you in there again because they don't want you noticed or seen in the movie because they're like, wait, I saw that guy earlier, and then you'll think that you're part of the plot, you're part of the storyline because you were seen again and again, and it's like, oh no, you don't want that. So they only do that for featured extras, and featured extras are individuals like Isaac Cappy when he was in this movie, and he played the stoner dude who I guess was a gas station attendant, and he became a small time celebrity throughout the years working in film here. I believe he got his big break on Beer Fest, and then started doing some films. So this film here was, I believe, filmed in 2004 or around that time. I don't remember specifically. Released in 2009. So it takes several years, for them to edit it and everything. And I would love to play more of it and show more of it, but I don't know if I'm gonna have to keep on editing and doing all this crazy stuff, right? So I just wanted to share my experience and how interesting that it is, and just be able to see how they change things up, they move the camera angles and everything, and then it gets you in different wardrobe, and bam, you're in 3 different scenes, but all in one scene. Or 3 different outfits all in one scene, several different takes. Movie magic is really fun, and I love it. After working in this film, it really gave me the bug to want to do more, and wow, this is a cool experience. We get paid to just hang out and chill with your friends, pretend you're in a bar around a bunch of actual strippers, because they find them, down at the actual clubs, and then they bring them in and they pay them and stuff. And so yeah, I believe my friend either worked in clubs or was just okay with nudity and things like that. So when you work in film, they give you check boxes, and if you are okay with nudity, then you check that okay with nudity, and if you're okay with doing certain things, handling animals. There was a time when I got to handle a goat, and out of everyone, they're like, okay, we're going to choose you, come with me, because we all raised our hands, are you comfortable with handling animals, being around goats? Yeah, sure, whatever. Don't know what you're raising your hand for, right? Next thing you know, you go outside, and they're like, hey, we're going to put this goat over your shoulder and see if you're comfortable enough with just carrying a goat. Like if it's your goat and you own it. What? Okay. And then we're going to have the director come around. You're each going to do this, and he's going to choose which one of you is going to be the best one to handle the goat on camera. I'm wow. And I got chosen. And we'll talk about that in another time on the whole behind the scenes with the Glass Man here working in film. So a lot of this is all New Mexico film, and that's going to be a fun story to share. Some of these movies and films, they don't make it to film. They don't make it to TV screens or the big screens. They don't make it at all. They don't even, sometimes all we work on is a pilot, and that's it, and it doesn't get picked up. And so that goat scene was one of those where it didn't get picked up. You'll never get to see it. And it's just my own experience. But that's why I'm bringing you these experiences and the whole, behind the scenes, my personal experiences working in film. So thank you so much for tuning in and listening to this experience on Not Forgotten, and talking about the different actors and the opportunities that I had here. And I can't really think of anything else that happened that was extraordinary on this set besides that I got to hang out with some individuals who were being featured, and then I got to be in 3 different scenes with 3 different wardrobes. This is the only time that that's ever happened. Usually they got you in one wardrobe, one scene, and then you're done for the day and you go home. So this was really fun and really cool. Except in that movie Doubting Thomas, the very first experience that I shared, I did share how I was picked up to be an extra for D.L. Hughley Just real quick, a one-off time. I wasn't like his stand-in throughout the movie. It was just they sent the stand-in home early that day, but then they needed to do a scene and still needed the stand-in. So they pulled me out from the crowd. That's how I got into that movie, Doubting Thomas. And then after that, they kept hiring me on to just work in background and be an extra, since I was already on the payroll, already had the paperwork done, and and then my child was in that as well. So it was just easy. I'm already on set, supervising my child being there. Might as well just get me in the scene too, and we're both paid. So that was Doubting Thomas, and I was paid to be a background extra and a stand-in for D.L. Hughley. So those are cool things that just happen while you're on set. Meeting new people, meeting the individuals who run like wardrobe, who run like catering. You know, people who feed you. You know, they're there, and they're people too. And you know, you can have beautiful conversations with them. Talk to them about what they do on set. You know what their preparations are, like what goes on with the meals after it's done. Like, does any of it go to feeding homeless or like any of that kind of stuff? You know, you can just have conversations with all these different individuals and just have a really good experience. If you've never worked in film and you live in New Mexico, I would highly recommend trying it out. You know, a lot of people are camera shy. They're like, oh no, 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 not me. It's like, it's not even like that. You're not even gonna get seen. You know, like I showed you, this was hours and hours of working and being. You think you're in front of a camera, right? The camera's right there, but it may not be focused on you because it may just be focused on him, right? It's as simple as that. Like, you may just be the couch in the background and nothing more. So thank you guys so much for tuning in and watching and listening to my experience on Not Forgotten. You can find it at imdb.com. That's where I found the information here. And I'm sure that you can pick it up, watch it on Prime. You can rent it or buy it for $3.99, I guess, on Prime. I got it on YouTube, and I purchased it for, I think, $5.99 or something like that, to where I can own it forever. And that way I can talk about it, share it with y'all, and share it with anyone who wants to come and watch it and see me in these different scenes. So I'm Dan the Glassman. You're watching The Glassman's World. Thank you so much for tuning in. Please be sure to hit that like button. And if you haven't subscribed yet and you want to hear more of these stories, then make sure you hit that subscribe button and get all the alerts, all the notifications. All right. We'll see you again soon. Love and blessings. Later.